Hey, and welcome to the EdTech Throwdown for Rider University students. We're very happy to be here today. Thanks, Dr. Piercy, for inviting us in virtually to your classroom. And maybe some of the other professors use this as well. It's totally your call. But we want to welcome you to this EdTech Throwdown. We do this about twice a year for Rider students. We're very excited to do it. My name is Eric Geis, and I am alongside Nick Johnson.
Sure. So you can start advancing the slides there. Yeah, I'm Nick Johnson. That's Eric. We're teachers. We are also both tech coaches at Hopewell Valley Central High School. We host a podcast that I'll tell you about in a second. So if you are interested in sort of being involved in learning about education, and in particular how technology plays a role in education, you can check that out. And we're super into PD, which is teaching other teachers about stuff that they can do in their classroom. So on the next slide, you'll see all of the different places that you can get more from us. We've got a YouTube channel. You just search Got Tech. There's tons of little quick sort of help videos. Whenever we find something cool, we try and post a video on it. Our podcast is called Got Tech, the podcast, which you can find us. We have a website, gottech.com, and you can see the spelling there, as well as really any player, including Spotify, iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play. However you would listen to podcasts, you could find Got Tech there. And if you're into social media, we also both have Twitter accounts, as well as the podcast itself has a Twitter account. And those are actually linked on the previous slide, but it's Nick Got Tech, Geis Got Tech. For whatever reason, sort of educators have chosen Twitter as like their main space where things are shared. So if you haven't started checking that out as a spot to learn stuff, you can do it first by following us and find out about things we're doing and all sorts of other cool things that way. What to expect in this video. Back at the very start, and we'll show again at the end, there was a bit.ly link. I believe it's bit.ly/NJECC21. If you type that in, it'll actually take you to get your own copy of this presentation. If you're viewing it later, like if you want a copy of this for yourself, that link will have you make your own copy, and you'll notice that pretty much everything here is linked. The little buttons or images on the previous slide, for example, will take you straight to our Twitter page, our YouTube channel, our Spotify page, and everything else. So just try clicking on everything you see, and chances are it'll navigate you to something. We are really into educational technology, and that's what we're going to be sharing with you guys today. But we also know that it is not everything, and there's really no replacement for just good teaching and building relationships with your students. But we just feel like technology can open a lot of doors that would not otherwise be possible, and can meet a lot of needs of a diverse group of learners and people from different age levels. So that's sort of how we see technology fitting in the classroom. The general idea of this particular presentation is that Geis and I, we're not necessarily arguing with each other, but we are competing for your approval here, for your vote, really. So I'm going to present 7 tech tools that I think are really awesome. Geis is going to present 7 that he thinks are really awesome. And then at the end, we want you to pick who you thought has the better selections, basically. Every time we do this and we do tally, I believe Geis has won 5 times. I've only won 2 or 3. Whatever. Yeah, he's got them behind him. Whatever that means to you. But maybe this will be a win for me. So that's the eventual goal. And there's going to be a lot too. So you're going to see 14 tech tools. That is way too much for you to learn and sort of comprehend all at once. So just try and think about like 1 or 2 that really jump out at you as something you're going to explore, remember, and maybe eventually try to build a lesson around. So with that, I believe you're going first, guys. So I'll let you take it away and kick us off.
Yeah, Nick won the coin flip, and he told me that I had to go first, but that's fine. That's fine. These are all tools that are going to be remembered, I think. They're all very, very good at what they do, and they're very simplistic. So that's a good combination. I feel very confident about today, but not cocky, just confident. And yeah, so let's get going with this. As you go along, if you like a EdTech tool, make sure that you share the hashtag. We also gave you the hashtags or the Twitter names of some of the EdTech tools. What they do is when they see us do this, they give us some free swag that we can, relay to everybody out there. So if we see some Twitter action going on, we might reach out to Dr. Piercy or whomever tweets it and send you some free swag if you do tweet it and how you plan on using it or something you liked about it. Make sure you include our hashtag #GotTech there. All right, so all of our EdTech tools are going to fall within these 4 categories. We have productivity, curation, gamification, and creativity. So I'm going to start with my first one. I love gamification in the classroom. Way to bring game-like elements into the classroom seems to be a great way of getting kids to buy into the lesson. And this is the newest one that we found. It's called Blukit. I always said Blukit, but I was corrected on the pronunciation of it, so we're going to go Blukit here. And this is, if you're familiar with Kahoot, Quizzes, Quizalize, Gimkit, this falls in the same lines of that. So the reason why we have this view up is so I could easily click out and show you some of these tools. I just don't want it to be like, we'll name it and then you're expected to know it. I want to show you a little bit of it. All right, so when you sign into Blukit, you have the option of creating a set or discovering sets. I already discovered and created a few, so I'm going to go into my favorites. All right, when you go into your favorites, it's going to pop up your sets. And apparently, I do not have mine saved in this one. There we go. Just took a little bit to come up. All right, so I have named some Disney movies, and I also have some Greek mythology. Now, down here, we have a couple options. We could have this pushed out for solo, so this would be like a homework practice, or we could do a host, and this is more like a traditional Kahoot where they do it all in class. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and hit host here so I could show you a little bit on the back end. As you can see, there are 9 different games that you can choose from. All of these have slightly different gamification aspects to them. For example, this racing one right here, if you ever go to a fair or carnival and there's that game where you have to shoot water from a water gun into a little hole, and that causes the horses to go across this game board. And the first one to the finish line, you get the loud siren or a balloon pop or something along those lines to indicate the winner. That's what this one kind of is. But when you get questions right, think of flashcards. When you get them right, you could either advance yourself or you can cause people to go backwards. So there's a little bit of that competition, but there's also the added fun of, getting people to have to work harder later. There are other ones like this Gold Quest, same thing here. You could gain gold, you could lose gold, and people could take away gold. So this is Blukit, and then what you'll do is you would pick a scheduled time such as 3 minutes or a certain amount of points for the game to last. And the students seem to really, really like that one.
I'll add in there too. It actually is really fun. If we were doing this live, we might actually play a session with everybody as a group. One of the games involves you accumulate gold as you go, and you can actually steal gold back and forth from each other. It just has some elements that other online game tools, educational gaming tools don't have. Super fun. Your class will love playing Blukit.
Awesome. So just so you know, Nick did mention this. This is hyperlinked to Blukit, but also on the next one, we have our little video or YouTube video of how to get started with Blukit. So each one of these EdTech tools that we go over have this same layout. So if right now is not the right time to learn about it, well, maybe in 3 or 4 months that will be. So go ahead and come back to this and take a look at it. My next one is Moat. Moat is one of my very, very favorite Chrome extensions. It is a feedback Chrome extension, and especially through the pandemic, we were always away from our students. So Mote allows you to give a little personalized touch to feedback, and it makes grading so much easier, and it makes teachers save so much more time while grading. It implements right in, or integrates right into Google Classroom. So if you're in a Google Classroom school, this will work there. It works in Sheets, Slides, Docs, and anywhere on the Chrome browser. You have the ability to save Motes. Motes are little audio clips that you record, and I'll show you one of these in just a second. It allows you to save these little audio recordings into something that they call the Mote Book, which is the same thing as canned comments. All right, so I'm going to show you Mote for Google Slides. So it was always very, very hard to get audio into our Google Slides. I think this simplifies the whole thing. And this, what I show you right now, you could do, like I said, in Google Slides, Google Sheets, Google Classroom, and on Google Chrome. So, all right, I'm going to tap the little Mote extension up here. That's going to bring up the Ready to Start Mote player. You click the image right here again. Hey, this is a test, and it wants me to log in. So I'm going to go ahead and show you this. And I am well over the age of 18. But I'm going to show you this because I think it's worth it. All right. And Nick was my witness. I did this right before we got started, so I don't know why it's making me do it again. But it's going to log me in here.
As it does that, just so sort of another note about this, besides, the benefit of this is how extremely fast and easy it is to give feedback. In Google, it's pretty simple to leave a comment. I'm sure you guys have done that before, but even better to not have to type at all, right? So it just records your voice and adds that as a little voice comment. And then as a side benefit, you'll find that your students really enjoy hearing your voice give that feedback instead of just reading it. And a lot of the times your voice can convey like a tone, more a supportive tone, whereas your text, if you're just typing it out and they're reading that, you may not be able to convey everything exactly the way you want to. So it's much nicer to be able to do it that way and leave this voice commenting as an added benefit.
So here I go. I tapped on the icon. The reason why it asked me to log in is because it updated. So I had to enable the permissions. So I'm recording this feedback right into Slides. When you're done, you go ahead and hit stop. It's going to think, and it's going to allow you to insert, delete. It could play back so you can see if that's really what you wanted to say. This gets a little dangerous with me. It's like the answering machines that give you an option to replay it before you send it to the answering machine. I end up doing a message over and over again, so I just kind of stopped doing the whole answering machine voicemail thing. But we're going to go ahead and we are going to insert this. It does take a couple of seconds to do it, but what it's doing is it's creating this icon right here. So now we're able to go ahead and play back everything that I just said prior to this. What I like about this is you could easily share a slide deck with a bunch of students and give them their own slide. They have to decorate their slide, and then the next thing you know, you want them to make a gallery walk of their slides. So they have to do a Mote that basically takes the user, the other person that's looking at it, through their slide. It's very, very powerful. You could play there. I'm not going to do that right now, but as you can see, the Mote icon is in there. All right, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that, and we will move on to our next one. Once again, we have the video. The next one is whiteboard.fi. So a lot of people have been using Jamboard during this remote period or this hybrid learning period. And I have used Jamboard as well. I really like Jamboard when there's groups working together to collaborate, but sometimes we just want some individual practice. We need to make sure that Johnny knows what he's doing when he solves a math problem, or we want to see how Sarah works on a math problem. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to go into whiteboard.fi. It's going to bring up this. There's no need to register or anything like that. you just click new class. Your students will click join class. You're going to type in, I'm just going to put in my last name there. Here we go, guys. And I'm going to hit create a new class. All right, what that's going to do is it's going to give you a code that you could either just display on the front overhead or in a Zoom or something like that. And it's going to allow students to enter that, or you could share this through your classroom management system, all right, and copy and paste it over. When you are done with that, we're going to go into whiteboard.fi. I'm going to zoom out here a couple. All right, and this is the teacher board. All right, down here is where all the student boards show up. But if I wanted to get students to work on something, and I'm using a mouse to do this, so this is actually neater than my actual handwriting. And I want to push this out to them. I want to see how they're going to do this problem. I could go up here and hit push. All right, you could push the students, all pages. So if I created 5 different problems, I could push them all out, or I could just push out the current one. We could push to students as a background. That means they can't do anything to this 4 + 2. It would just stay there. That might be a good option as well. So I'm going to push it out to everybody, and what it will do is it will give each student one of these whiteboards. So that's whiteboard.fi. It allows the teachers to look at students in real time, and they're working individually there.
I'll add to this one too. If you any math or science people out there, that's great because you couldn't see it because Geis didn't have a whole class of students, but beneath his teacher board, there would be a ton of little tiles kind of filled in there, and you can see what each student is writing individually in real time. It's equivalent to getting to walk around a classroom and look at their worksheet or their piece of paper or their whatever they're working on. It's just sort of like the digital one-stop version of that. Super helpful, especially if you are running a remote-only classroom.
Awesome. So my next one is Sodaphonic. Nick and I are both really big into audio. And as you can see, with Moat and now Sodaphonic, these are 2 audio things, but they're totally different. If you wanted your students to do a reflection or make a podcast or anything like that, I would recommend sodaphonic.com. So this is an extension as well. I put this on here. I'm not the biggest fan of the extension. I rather use sodaphonic.com because the extension allows you to record, but Sodaphonic allows you to record, edit, and export as an MP3 or WAV file. So let's go to Sodaphonic real quick. It's going to come up like this. Let's see here. I'm going to make this just a little bit smaller so we can see the whole thing. So don't worry about the signups or the sign-ins or the creating an account. We don't need to do any of that, and either does your students. Just hit start a new project. And what that's going to do is give you 2 options. You could import your own audio file. So if you recorded audio on your cell phone, you want to put it in here, you can do that and edit it, or we could record something new. Down here are all our buttons. We could hit record here or down here. So I'm going to go ahead and do this. It's going to give me a countdown. Hey, and welcome to another EdTech Throwdown. All right, as I just hit stop there, and as you can see, this is everything. Notice I took a long time to get going, and I paused at the end. If you want to clean this up, just click on the part that you want to clean up and drag which way you want to highlight and hit backspace. I'm going to do the same thing in the front, and this is just super easy to edit. Now I have my full clean audio there. You could come up here. The reason why I like Sodaphonic, super simple. You have other programs that are higher in quality, but they take a long time to learn and they cost a lot of money. So you can't really expect every classroom to do that and to pay for this. So what you're going to do is you're going to just go in here, play around with some of the simple side effects, things like that. Here are the effects. You can make things louder, quieter, silence, normalize. You can bleep something out. That's sometimes useful. Fade in, fade out, all that good stuff. When you're done, you can go to save. You could share it with a link, or you could save. Save's going to bring you some options. There's the MP3 and there's the waveform. And then you would just go ahead and save it. Super simple, super easy. And it really allows you to get your students to be content creators and to take ownership and pride in their own learning. So that is Sodaphonic. We're going to go ahead right into the next one, which is Slides Mania. Slides Mania is a teacher's best friend. All right. If you are anything like me, I can't make a stick figure look good. So it takes me all day to try to make a presentation, whether it's PowerPoint or Google Slides, that looks good. So Slides Mania is ran by a lady named Paula. And what she does is she has a regular job during the day in finance, and then she goes home, and her creative outlet of making different slide decks is the way that she relieves stress. So this is good for teachers because she gives them to us for free. So if you go to education, and there are tons of different templates here. I'm going to go to choice boards and games. All right, so here we are. Here are our choice boards. So this is a simple game. I know Nick uses this one. He likes it. It's kind of like it gives a question. You have to pick yes, no. It's a very simplified game. Can you guess who it is? This is another game where you have this mystery person, and there's 3 facts about them that you try to guess who it is. They have several presentations that are just presentation types. I'm just showing you a couple of the cooler ones. This one right here, it allows you to get in an elevator, go up different floors. So if you go to the first floor, you have to do this activity. I almost call it a choice board. It's very neat, and you could do that. Either way, if you like any of these, you just click on it. It brings up the preview. You could go in and take a view at all of them, all the different slides. It shows you a little video. All right, but all you have to do is either hit download PowerPoint or open in Google Slides. All right, so you could go in here and see what they're all about. Hit which download or open in Google Slides, and then you're off to the races creating your content using Slides Mania background templates. All right, so pretty cool there. All right, so that is Slides Mania. I'm going to keep running. Here, there's a little video on Slides Mania. My next one is full interactive Google Slides, and Nick and I joke around about this one all the time because here we are using a slides presentation, and you could see the slides fine, but it would be cool if the side over here is hidden a little bit better. So it makes this larger. And in remote and hybrid learning, this is a great extension. If you look up at the top, we have this icon right here for full interactive Google Slides. If you click this, take a look at the left of the screen where the slide preview is. It goes away and it makes the presentation larger. The great thing about this is that all this on the slide is still interactive. So if you were working with elementary school kids and you wanted to make this larger, but you still want the interactivity, because if you go in full screen mode, you can't click and drag things. Well, this teacher can have a penny here and can click and drag it over here, just as I am working in each one of these little individual boxes. All right, when you're done, you hit the escape button. You can click on it again, the little icon up at the top, and it will bring you back to the full screen. So that's full interactive Google Slides. My last one is something I've been using for years, but for some reason, I just don't really talk about it all that much, and it's called Print Friendly PDF. This is another extension. Sometimes I go to a site such as CNN. All right. And I like an article. What is it like to live on Italy's COVID-free islands? All right. This has a lot of great stuff, but it has a lot of stuff that I don't really need. I don't need lipstick. Don't care about Happy Kiss or any of this stuff. All right. What I want is this right in the middle, the written portion. So what I'm going to do is go up here to print friendly and PDF extension, and I'm going to click on it. What that's going to do is it's going to clean up the article. So this is a picture. Yeah, maybe I want that picture. All right, but these pictures down here, if I don't want them, I could hover over them and just hit the delete, and they're gone. All right, so you could do that. You could clean it up however you want. And then when you're done, if I want to leave all the other pictures and everything, what you can do is you can come up here, make a PDF and share it out. You can email it out, or you could print it. So that's print friendly and PDF. It's pretty awesome. Saving paper. And it's also helping some students that easily get distracted, not get distracted by all the ads and all the unnecessary stuff within that article. And with that, I think I am done. So you have my 7. We're going to roll into Nick's 7.
Yeah, thanks, man. That print-friendly PDF is awesome, too. I always kind of forget about that thing, but it's just so great. And you'll find, too, if you're working with students that have like Chromebooks, a lot of the time the Chromebook it's very slow. So if you just sent them the link to that CNN article on the web, it's kind of slow to load and all the ads keep playing, and it's just tough for them. But being able to clean it up and push it out then in that PDF form is so awesome. So I love that one.
Yeah, it's awesome.
And my first one then is called Edji, EDJI. This is a website, so you can go to edgy.com, I believe. Log in as a teacher. There's a free account as well as a pay account, but you can do most of what you need with the free account. Edgy does it does one thing. You create what they call readings. A reading can be just that. It can be a reading in a PDF form, or you can just copy paste in text. You can see one here. It can also contain images, so there's a picture put in there as well. But what it's meant to do is sort of be like a discussion board space about that reading or about the image that you upload, where students can read the text, highlight it as they go, and leave comments sort of associated with that text. So you can see as he's hovering over there, there's 2 little gray circles, 1 little gray circle. Those are all comments made about different areas of the text. So you can push this out to your students, tell them to read it for 5 minutes, ask them to make comments. They can leave comments on each other's comments, and you can make that part of the assignment and the instructions that they have to, read and respond to 2 or 3 other students, thoughts on this thing. I like this as maybe the best way for students who are hesitant to speak up in class. It's really hard to get that discussion going. And, from the teacher's side, running a discussion, it's just really hard. Probably one of the hardest things you have to learn to do as a teacher and to be comfortable in that. But with a tool like Edgy, can really help break that ice in that you've always got something to look at and to go off of. So I can see right there, Eric, if you could just hover over the darker red part that says maybe they. There's this thing called heat vision, and you can choose to turn it off or on, as you can see on the left-hand side there. So it doesn't change what you're seeing on this screen because this is the teacher view, so you will see this no matter what. But when it's off, the students will not see that dark red color. If it's on, they will. You have to sort of decide if you want them to see it or not. But either way, from the teacher's side, I can see that maybe that attracted lots of attention. The darker red color it gets means there's more comments about that area. So if I'm starting up a class discussion on this song, and nobody's volunteering anything and it's a little bit sluggish getting going, I can go right to those dark red areas and even see the students who left comments and sort of, and sort of prompt those discussions to begin in class. So, Maya, what did you left a comment here, and a lot of other people did too. Can you start us off? Tell me what you thought. And then after that, I want the other people to share their thoughts too. And it sort of gets that ball rolling. As far as you can see at the bottom, there's also questions. So you can embed questions as well and see those student responses to sort of get a snapshot of what people think or what they're understanding. And then if you could go back up to the image, you can also just add pictures. You don't have to have any text at all. The whole reading could be an image, and you can have students click on different areas of that image and then hit new to leave a comment. And you can do the comments in text, audio form, emojis. And in the image, it just will leave behind a little orange dot. So thumbs up he's got in there, and then it leaves that comment on that area of the image. Sometimes I'll have like I'll write out a calculation, let's say, again, as a science or math person, and you can insert a picture of that calculation and ask the students to drop a comment on an area where they see a mistake, if you've sort of done something wrong on purpose. So there's lots of ways that you can use Edgy. And if this sounds interesting, they've even got templates for like games that you can play with it. It's a really cool platform and definitely worth checking out. So that is Edgy.
I'm gonna head back into the presentation.
After Edgy, I've got Trello. This is great for organization. I'm a list maker. I run my week on a weekly to-do list, and then each day has a daily to-do list. And I used to write this on paper. I kind of have like a notebook that I carry around with me. But these days, there's tons of great apps and extensions that will do that for me. And Trello is my favorite one. So you can go to one of our shared Trello boards. It's pretty simple what it is. You can see there's a series of lists here. That's what I like about it, is within this one board, I can have a bunch of different lists. These are a bunch of different projects that I'm working on. The best thing about it is that it's real-time collaborative. So this is one that Geis and I share, and it lists out all of the projects that we're trying to do at any given time. You can color code them. You can see cooperative learning on the left there has a little green, and you can work out, yourself or amongst your team what these color codes mean. But the benefit of this is that, if we're trying to build some podcast PD, if Eric is finished with one of those, you can see he's dragging things around too. Super easy to change positions. But, if Eric takes care of equipment under podcast PD, he can archive that or drag it into a done column. And I know now that I don't have to do that anymore. It's a way to sort of keep track of who has done what without ever checking in. So if you're working on a project with a group of other people or trying to build out a new unit with a colleague, you can sort of outline it together here and then just get to work separately as long as each person keeps track of what they're done with. It's a great thing to use. And there's the desktop version that you're looking at now online. There's also a phone app. The other day we were using this and Eric was typing on his computer. I had the app up on my phone and we're working off of it simultaneously. And it really is great for that real-time collaboration. So I love Trello, and if you're into making lists, check it out. It might help you get a little more organized.
That is a good one. And like I said earlier, well, actually I said I complimented Nick's artistic talent, but now I'll compliment his organization, because out of the two of us, he's organized, I'm a mess. So Trello, I like it enough to use it, at least minimally, that it allows us to be on the same page. So this is definitely one that I would recommend.
The next one, Equagio, for the science and math people out there. It's really tough to get students to include professional looking math calculations. It's fine on paper because they can just write. It's a little bit simpler for them, but as soon as it comes to typing it up and especially making it look formal, putting nice calculations in like a lab report, let's say, it takes, at least it has in the past, taken a lot of work, and they will fight you on it. They don't always want to do that. But with Equagio, you can add really professional equations into a Google Doc or slide or anything with almost no effort. So when you click the extension, you can see there's lots of options down at the bottom for adding in equations. Our favorite one is the speech input. Geis is going to take you through that now.
All right, so I clicked on the speech input. You got to enable your microphone, and then what you do is you hit the start speech input. A squared plus B squared equals C squared. And as you can see, it listened, and now it's in this scientific notation, so in a formula form. And when you're done with that, if you like the way that it did what it did, you hit insert math. And what it's going to do is it's going to go ahead and plop it into your Google Doc here. So
your students will love that because it's very little effort on their part. And there's lots of ways you can insert. They do have like an equation editor that you can just type into. There's also a phone version where if you have some handwritten calculations, you hold your phone's camera over that, and it will detect that handwritten work and automatically turn it into the same type of image file that you saw that then goes into the doc. So super easy, and it will help your kids and let you get much nicer results from them. Okay, this next one we're not going to show because it's pretty clear what it does just from the image that you see there. But you'll find when you're running a classroom, especially a digital classroom where you're running lots of different things with technology, you're sort of constantly changing the screen that you are sharing in your class or over the Zoom meeting, whatever the setting is. So what I mean by this is, like, you may be trying to share out a QR code, right, to get them linked to some document. There might be a timer running for a certain assessment or a certain group of students. You want to give them directions on maybe the noise level that's supposed to be happening in the classroom. Maybe you're trying to push out groups and projecting the groups of students that are supposed to be working with each other. The point is that it gets kind of complicated because to do all of these different things, you're always changing screens, switching back and forth from one tab to the next. But with Classroom Screen, they have like 13 different, they call them widgets, but they're really just 13 different types of things that you can put all on one screen, all at one time. And you can see some of those examples there. One of them is just basically a whiteboard space, a piece of paper where you can write on it and have your students watch that. QR codes that link them to things, stop signs as far as directing them what they should be doing, volume indicators, automatic group generators if you type in your class names, timers, just for a sampling of what you can do with this. Again, all projected on the screen at once. So it really simplifies you kind of managing your classroom. I think about this as like the ultimate classroom management tool that saves you from having to go back and forth from different tools. It's all sort of self-contained. So I love Classroom Screen. It's really made my management of the classroom much simpler. And then the next one I've got is Slazer. This is sort of like a tip both for you and something you can show your students if they're making projects on a slides presentation or digital posters in class. If you've ever put together a PowerPoint or a Google slide deck, then you know that if you just put in a picture with a square outline, maybe it's a picture of yourself and you're in your room so you can see your bed and whatever else that background is, it doesn't look super professional. But with Slazer, you can upload an image and it automatically removes all of that background nonsense and makes it transparent so that it looks way, way nicer when it actually goes into that presentation. Guys is trying to find a picture now. We'll see if this one works. So here's an image. It goes in as the original form, and then as Slazer works, it's going to remove all of that background stuff. You can see it gets a nice crisp line around the edge. This used to take, like learning Photoshop to do, and maybe a couple hours of your time, and maybe less if you're good at it. But now you can just download that transparent background image and put it into your presentation, and it looks really nice and neat, and it gives a super professional quality to it. So again, this is great for you in developing your own presentations, but it's another awesome tool to share with your kids and when they're making digital content as well. And like I said before, you'll get just much higher quality products out of them if they know that there's tools like this out there. So that's Slazer. Another fun one is called gifs.com. This is a neat trick. If you want a YouTube video in the form of a GIF, you can go to that YouTube video. So Eric is going to YouTube right now, and you can do this with any video you want. So you can, here's our YouTube channel. And if you go there and just pick a video that you would like to turn, here's a good one of us. We made a promo for our podcast. But he's going to go up to the URL of this and literally just in front of YouTube, type the word GIF. And when you do that, notice no downloads, no signups, no nothing. It just automatically takes you to gifs.com, and it will begin turning that YouTube video into a GIF that you can then download and embed in your presentations or Google Docs or whatever else. You can also sort of drag the start and end of that presentation around if you just want like a certain chunk of it, maybe not the entire video. This is a really great tool. If GIFs will play automatically in a Google slide or a PowerPoint, and sometimes that's really nice because you don't have to worry about clicking play on an embedded video and then it ends, and the kids kind of have like one chance to see it. With a GIF, it plays over and over and over again, so they kind of get a chance to keep rewatching whatever you want them to see without any effort. So GIFs.com and that little trick to do it is a nice, fast, easy way to really get any GIF you want, as long as you can find it on YouTube. And next, this is super fun. It's called Chrome Music Lab. Even if you don't end up using this in your classroom one day, it's just fun, even just for you to sort of play around with. So if you go there, it's just a website at musiclab.chromeexperiments.com. It's full of these different apps where you can really just play and experiment with art, music, science, all kind of rolled into one. Building a lesson out of this, you can take it whatever direction you want. So the very top left one, you don't have to click on that. Actually, go back.
Going back.
And then scroll all the way up to the top. You can see this is just like a little piano tool that you can click and play.
All right, I'm going to go back out and go back in. Our internet is extremely slow at school today. All right.
Oh, okay. So the one that said it's second in from the right in that top row, it's got the smiley face.
This one?
Yeah, the Songmaker. So Songmaker, you can go in here and add in different elements of a song in different tones, and then you can actually download that when you're done. So you can see he's clicking, and each of those is a different note, and then it'll play that back through as you can have your students building their own music, maybe as a background to a video that they're making. That's kind of how this whole thing started. But then some of the other cool stuff you can do, some of the other apps here. The one on the far right, Spectrogram is like a visual look at different sounds, musical instruments. So here's a harp and whistling. Birds, and if you do the far left one, it's even your own voice via microphone.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? I got some low tones.
And it's a cool way for the kids to kind of get that visual of what a low tone means versus high. And then just go back one more time. We don't have to click on any more, but just so you can get a sense of them. So Kandinsky there, you can draw little shapes, and it will actually play the sound of that drawing. So any shape you want, and then click play. You can add different pieces, and it will play through in a loop. So just all kinds of neat, fun things like this. There's even one that I think it's the one with all the little blue dots on the far left. It will show you how sound waves like move through particles. It's a good way to get a sense of what sound waves are and how they work. So that's some of the science that comes into play. There's tons of stuff here. Just go start clicking on them, and hopefully this will sort of inspire you to some ways that you can build this into your class, even if it's just, hey guys, go play around with this, create something, and come back and show the class. It's just a super fun activity. So I think that's my last one too. That's each of our 7 selections.
All right, so basically that is it. So what we're going to do now is we usually give you a bit.ly link, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the second slide. And if you think I won, just throw me a tweet on Twitter saying that I beat Nick Got Teched in the EdTech Throwdown for Ryder. And we'll keep a tally of them, and we'll let Dr. Piercy know who was the victor. Remember to also tweet out some of the tools that you like, and let them know that you learned it from us. And the reason why we do that is because what happens is we get a lot of these companies that, send us these different stickers, or sometimes they're little keychains and stuff. And what we like to do is we like to send them out to all of you. So help us help you. So hopefully this presentation gave you a couple tools that you never heard of, and that you'll be able to implement into your classrooms within the next couple of years. Nick, do you have anything else?
No, that just about wraps it up. Just in case you want your own copy of these slides for all the links, go back to the first slide. bit.ly/NJECC21. If you type that in, it will prompt you to make your very own copy that you can keep, delete, do whatever you want with, but everything that we just talked about is on there.
All right. So if you have any questions, Nick and I always love to help out. So feel free to get a hold of us on Twitter. If you want to check out some more of our stuff on the third slide, you could go click around there, or you could just go over to www.gottech.com, and that will hook you up with pretty much everything. So we hope that we get to see some of you soon, maybe as cooperating teachers, maybe as some junior practicum experience opportunities, or maybe as a colleague. So until then, we hope this helped you out, and we'll see you later.
Thanks, everybody.